Sports gambling is here and it's not going away. In 2018, the Supreme Court repealed the Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, PASPA, striking down the federal law that outlawed sports betting. Now, leagues and teams are tasked with integrating legal sports betting into their environments to generate revenue and increase fan engagement throughout their sports. Right now, we have 22 states that have passed sports gambling legislation. Of that, 18 have been enacted. Also, 2 jurisdictions have passed legislation, including Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico. Legalized gambling is regulated heavily and generates millions a year in tax revenue for states. As more states legalize sports gambling, sports teams will have new opportunities to generate revenue. For years, most American sports leagues have resisted gambling of any sort, scarred by match fixing and point shaving scandals that still stain history books. But in recent years, public attitudes have relaxed, and many major stakeholders in sports slowly have shifted their stances on gambling. Many expect that betting is the future of sports and might be the answer to recent viewership declines in professional sports leagues such as Major League Baseball. One way that professional sports leagues and teams hope to use recent gambling legislation to re-engage fans is through in-arena, real-time sports betting. Each year, tens of millions of Americans pour into arenas, parks, rinks, and stadiums to see a professional sporting event in one of the 4 major American sports leagues, the NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB. But fans are now less inclined to go to games in person. Each league saw a decline in total attendance from 2008 to 2018. Many solutions have been considered to combat declining attendance numbers in sports. Creating package deals for fans, making stadium experiences more like a trip to a theme park instead of a sports game, and integrating more technology to increase fan engagement in stadiums have all been considered by all of these leagues. Another solution to combat declining fan attendance is to implement sports gambling areas within stadiums and arenas for fans to bet on while attending games. Fantasy sports and sports gambling have both shown to increase sports fandom, which participants are much more interested in sports as a whole, especially the outcome of the game. Consumers' appetite for gambling, for better or for worse, has increased at a steady rate with no signs of slowing down. In fact, now 2 in 3 sports fans want betting integrated into their game day experiences. As sports gambling becomes more widespread, it will become increasingly folded into the fabric of the games Americans love to watch. Used correctly by teams, sports gambling has the potential to provide a huge incentive for fans to show up and to stay at games. Ted Leonsis is CEO of Monumental Sports and Entertainment and owner of 7 professional teams in several different sports, sees the potential for arenas to be transformed into entertainment superplexes like a casino. These superplexes would feature betting windows, kiosks, and in-game betting options for mobile devices. If Leonsis' vision is true, it will transform arenas, intellectualize the game, and beef up the statistics and data used in each sport. Fans in the stands will find themselves rooted in competition that's centered around the action in front of them. The goal of these areas and stadiums would be to mirror the social experience of sitting in a sports bar with your friends or sitting in your living room with your family. Just like an arena, lounge, or restaurant, these spaces will provide opportunities for fans to experience the event in a way that's totally new to them. Sportsbooks and arenas won't be limited to traditional wagers, such as winners, losers, and total point scores, but they will also have a variety of prop bets and, perhaps the biggest development of all, in-game betting options. That means fans can bet on specific plays nearly in real time. 75% of bets placed happen after an event has begun. For example, fans in an NBA game will be able to have an opportunity to bet on whether or not a person will make their free throws, who gets the last shot of a game, or will a team make a basket on their next possession. Fans in arenas will be a couple of taps away from being able to place these kinds of bets. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban does not think in-arena gambling will detract from the product or affect fans whose rooting interest is tied more to standings than their pocketbooks. If anything, he thinks it'll force more people in arenas to lock into the action because in order to effectively bet, people have to pay attention to the game. Monumental Sports Entertainment has partnered with William Hill to build a sportsbook at Capital One Arena. Monumental owns the NBA's Washington Wizards, the NHL's Washington Capitals, and the WNBA's Washington Mystics, which all play in Capital One. It will be the first sportsbook to appear inside of a U.S. sports venue. The Capital One Arena Sportsbook will include a two-floor bar and restaurant and is expected to open as soon as next year. Both ticketed and non-ticketed fans will be able to access the venue on game days and will be open even when no event is scheduled at the arena. Fans will also be able to place wagers on William Hill's mobile app inside the arena. Due to COVID restrictions, the box office at Capital One Arena is serving as a temporary space while construction on the permanent sportsbook inside the arena continues. In the meantime, the sportsbook is open 7 days a week. Even outside of game days, these books create tons of revenue for the Washington teams. So far, the District of Columbia and Illinois are the only two jurisdictions that have passed sports betting legislation allowing bookmakers to operate in sports venues. Wrigley Field and the United Center in Chicago have considered putting sports books on site or at least very close to their venues. It'll be interesting to see if they follow through in the next years. In a survey conducted by the University of Dayton, when asked about an average amount of sporting events annually, 43% of fans said they would attend between 4 and 9 events per year. When the question was changed under the circumstance of legalized sports gambling, 49% said that they would attend at least 10 sporting events per year. Fans gambling in arenas has a great economic impact as they're more likely to stay until the end of contests, keeping them in seats longer, leading to more food, beverage, and merchandise purchases. This additional revenue will even give teams the ability to keep tickets more affordable for their fans. By implementing gambling areas, teams will have solutions to combat declining attendance trends in sports.